Back, and we are joined this morning by health experts and dietitian Carrie Seedy to help us understand this profound impact of food insecurity on children's health and well-being. This manifests in very different ways, and it can be underweight, it can be overweight.
Yeah.
What is going on in that physical process and how it manifests?
Yeah, so we see the double burden of both over and under nutrition with food insecurity.
Because
so,
the food that's going in is often
yes,
the least nutritious and the
100%,
highest,
yeah.
worst calorie load.
So what we find is people that are food insecure, their diets are typically high in refined carbohydrates and sugars, high in fat. Also, we see in kids, they call it sort of the insurance hypothesis. So they don't know when they're going to eat again. So when they do have access to food, they just like pile it in. So they actually found that kids in sort of food insecure areas are actually 5 times more likely to be obese than children that are in food secure homes. But in terms of that over and under nutrition, obviously you get different levels of food insecurity. So you get the moderate one where people still have access to food. And then you get the severe cases where there's no food quality or quantities. And that's when we see the underweight kids.
And how do we go about building a nutritional plan for families that are forced to live on or way, way below that economic bracket where they can access their own food?
Yeah, so I think some countries have addressed this in terms of promoting sort of what they call family farming. So promoting like, and also developing sustainable crops and growing vegetables that are in season.
Which is happening all over South Africa as we speak. People have had to do that.
Yeah. And then also addressing it just at the school level in terms of educating parents, educating children. Some schools even have developed sort of what they call, their own sort of food gardens at the schools, and they actually will provide a meal to children from that food garden. But another thing that has really helped a lot of countries is the fortification of foods like we do in South Africa. So like the fortification of maize meal and flour. We've got iodinated salt, so that's taken away sort of iodine deficiency as well. So those kind of things help, as well as South Africa also has a national school feeding program, which has made quite a big difference in this country.
If I could put you in front of a room full of educators, politicians, policy makers, what would you scream out to them? What do you think needs to be put out there from a nutritional perspective?
So I think firstly is a lot of research into these kind of things. Like the last National Food Consumption Survey was sort of in 1999, so there have been sort of smaller based studies looking at it. So identifying the problem is very important. So, now that we've fortified food, what are the vitamin and mineral deficiencies we're seeing in children? So are these still relevant? And from one of the studies, there has been an improvement in some of the areas. So definitely, and policymakers also can affect in terms of food pricing, subsidized food, ensuring there's land to do sort of family farming on, encouraging and educating in terms of food gardens and that kind of things at schools. Educators are quite important in terms of they're the front line with the children and the parents. So making sure schools have nutrition programs to educate about healthy eating, very important.
Yeah, it's not just about providing the food, it's about empowering with the right kind of knowledge. Thank you so much.